In every single building you walk into, your office, the mall, your apartment complex, there's this invisible shield. It's working around the clock to keep you safe. We almost never notice it, but it is one of the most critical pieces of infrastructure in our modern lives. So let's pull back the curtain and really dig into the world of fire protection systems. To really get why this stuff matters so much, let's start with a really simple but pretty powerful question. What is the real difference between just a fire and a full-blown tragedy? The answer? It's a system of protection. That's it. It's this whole network of smart design and incredible technology that stands between a manageable incident and a catastrophic loss of life. These systems are truly the silent guardians of our safety. Okay, so how does this shield actually work? Well, it's basically built on two totally distinct but complementary ideas: passive systems and active systems. Let's break down exactly what that means. So you can see the two approaches right here. Passive systems. Think of these as the building's built-in defenses. We're talking firewalls, fire-rated doors. They're literally part of the structure itself. They're designed to contain a fire and slow it down, and they don't need to be turned on or anything. On the other hand, you've got active systems. These are like the first responders. They need some kind of mechanical help, electricity or water pressure to activate. Their job is to detect a fire and then change what happens next, either by sounding a loud alarm or by directly fighting the flames. Now, within that active systems category, we've got a modern toolbox with 4 really distinct tools, and they're all categorized based on what they do and how they get started. Here's the breakdown. The easiest way to think about it is like a grid, right? On one side, you've got the function. Is it an alarm meant to warn people, or is it suppression meant to fight the fire? On the other side, you've got how it's activated, either automatic or manual. So, an automatic alarm? That's your classic smoke detector, sensing trouble all on its own. A manual alarm is that red pull station you see on the wall. Then you have automatic suppression, which is a fire sprinkler that goes off from the heat. And finally, manual suppression is something like a fire extinguisher that, needs a person to actually pick it up and use it. But why do we even have this complicated toolbox in the first place? The answer, unfortunately, is written in tragedy. The entire evolution of fire safety is a direct result of us learning the hardest lessons imaginable. This timeline, it shows such a tragic pattern. In 1903, the Iroquois theater became a death trap for 602 people because of failures that we would consider just unthinkable today. No sprinklers, a fire curtain that didn't work, and locked exit doors. Just 8 years after that, history basically repeated itself at the Triangle Shirtwaist factory. 145 workers died from many of the same reasons: no warning and blocked escapes. And even as late as 1980, the MGM Grand hotel fire proved that we still hadn't fully learned our lesson when a casino with no sprinklers filled the entire building with deadly smoke. So, the key takeaway from all of this is that each one of these horrible disasters pointed to the exact same fatal flaws. When you have a lack of early automatic notification and you combine that with a lack of automated suppression systems, well, that is just a recipe for a massive loss of life. You have to warn people and you have to control the fire before it gets completely out of hand. These lessons, one at such a high cost, didn't just stay in newspaper headlines. No, they became a mandate for change. They led to these landmark reports that completely reshaped how we think about building safety. A real turning point came in 1973 with this report called America Burning. And this wasn't just some boring government document. It was a wake-up call for the entire nation. Its most powerful recommendation called for, and I'm quoting here, automatic fire extinguishing systems in every high-rise building and every low-rise building where people congregate. That idea set the stage for the modern codes that keep us safe today. So what happened after this mandate for change? Well, the impact on safety has been nothing short of revolutionary. The data really speaks for itself. This number, 94%, it represents a complete revolution in home safety. By the year 2000, almost every single home in the US had a smoke alarm. Now, to get how huge that is, you have to remember that in 1975, that number was less than 10%. This is easily one of the most successful public safety campaigns in history. And the result of that campaign is just undeniable. As smoke alarm use went through the roof, the number of people dying in home fires was cut nearly in half. And that's not a coincidence. It is a direct correlation that proves early automatic notification saves lives. Period. Okay, so that's alarms, but what about suppression? Well, the U.S. Fire Administration reports that property losses are 85% less in buildings that have fire sprinklers compared to ones that don't. That is a massive reduction in damage. We're talking about protecting not just buildings, but people's businesses and their livelihoods. And when you put the two together, automatic sprinklers and early warning systems, the benefits are just overwhelming. They slash injuries, deaths, and property damage by at least half. They save the lives of the people inside, and this is so important, they save the lives of the firefighters who are running in to help. By controlling a fire early on, they also cut down the risk of a building collapsing, which is a huge danger for all first responders. So let's circle all the way back to where we started. This whole idea of an invisible shield that's protecting us every single day. From the passive firewalls that box in a fire to the active sprinklers that attack it right at the source, this complex, layered system is always at work. It's the silent, ever-present guardian that makes sure the difference between a fire and a tragedy really is the system of protection we've built. This invisible shield is really a legacy, one that was built from some very hard lessons, all designed to protect us. So the question now is, what part will you play in making sure it stays strong?